stand out without experience. So I'm sure that was really I'm sure it really inspired a lot of people. I'm sure we had our notes full. I'm sure we got our questions answered and clarity on a lot of things we've taught on. And so I just want to get feedback from two people that were on the session last week. So if you can, unmute yourself and just say one or two things you learned from the session.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Last week was sorry, please. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Right. So last week was about how to stand out without experience, and for me, what I learned from the session is the part where they say we can create opportunity from my lesson before even it exists, like for us to like for the experience before it comes, like we just have to create it, and we can show the willingness to learn and be teachable. The what is it called? The employers, they don't need too much of experience from us. It's just the willingness, the curiosity, and being teachable they needed from us. I hope that's what I learned and more. So I will give others to share that knowledge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your lessons, Oyinka Sola. Thank you so much. I do hope you also learn a lot from today's session as well. Does anyone want to go ahead to share their thoughts on the last session? Okay. Without wasting much time, our speaker is already on the call, so let's get right into today's session. Well, I realized I didn't introduce myself. So, once again, good evening, everybody. My name is Anyao Anne Marie, and I'm currently the head of recruitment at Masterbridge Academy, and I'll be your anchor for today. So, in today's session, we're going to be looking at a very interesting theme or topic where we'll be looking at networking and how to assess hidden opportunities. And our speaker for today will be guiding us all on what he knows on this topic. So, going right in, I'll be introducing our speaker for today. He is Isaac Wamala, and he is the head of macroeconomic and emerging markets research at Capital and Conflict, where he oversees two teams of six researchers, guiding them in researching economic trends, policies, and systematic risks. His role includes setting out research directions, providing tailored guidance, and producing concise insights into global policy and financial markets. Currently, he's pursuing a bachelor's degree in economics with data science at Goldsmiths University of London. And Isaac focuses on corporate finance, quantitative economics, and information security. His analytical problem solving abilities and commitment to fostering high quality research drives his interest in roles at the intersection of markets, policy, and analytical decision making. So, everyone, we have our speaker on the call right now. I'm sure you can all see his screen turned on. So, if you can just react using clapping emojis and different reactions, just warmly welcome our speaker as he goes into what he has for us for today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Um, could you repeat the last thing that you said? Is that you wanted me to give you an introduction as to what I do, or like do I just get
No,
straight into it?
you can go straight into it.
Oh, okay. Well, firstly, anybody that has any questions for me, you can put it in the chat and we'll answer as we go along. But with networking, what I think you, people should really focus on is 3 questions before you even go to networking events or you want to network with anybody professionally or unprofessionally. Focus on 3 questions, which is why, who, and where. I'll say it again, why, who, and where. So you want to first look at why you're networking, which I would say is the most important one out of all of them. Is it that you're networking to get a job? Are you trying to build your connections within a certain space? Are you trying to meet new people? You have to find a reason as to why you're doing it, because if you don't know why you're doing it, then it's going to be very hard for you to answer the who and the where. Next question you have to answer is, who are you networking with? Going to a lot, of course, you can go to a lot of networking events, but it's important when you do go, who are you going to target? Who is the one person in the room that you must make sure that you have a conversation with this person? And before you even step into the event, I remember somebody had told me, it was really good advice, but they said, when you're going to an event, you should always have a meeting before the meeting. And what I mean by that is that before you step foot in that event, you must make sure you know who you're targeting, you know about the person, you know something interesting that they have done or something interesting about what they do. And you must also have a question about either what it is that they do or something about them that shows curiosity. And then the last one is where. I know that there's a lot of networking events that are posted everywhere, but if I'm being completely honest, it's much harder to get opportunities where you have, let's say, 3 speakers and there's about 500 people at the event. Because if we're being realistic, those 3 people are having conversations with all these other people at this event. It's very unlikely that they're going to remember every single face, because everybody is going to go up to them and try to make sure that this person remembers them. So it's very important that knowing the industry that you're going into, which is the why, you must make sure that you only target events specific to what you want to do. And don't wait for opportunities to come. Don't wait on LinkedIn, waiting for somebody to post about an event or from social media or from a friend. You have to actually go out and search for it yourself. What I used to do when I first started going to events, I used to use this app called Eventbrite. You can go on Eventbrite, there's events for so many different things. You can go events for parties, you can go to singing events, you can go to spoken word, you can find economics events, you can find data science events, you can find events about everything. And what makes it different is that at these events, you're going to see that the people in these areas, they're only professionals. You're not going to a space where it's just everybody's in the same position as you, everyone's a student, everyone wants the opportunity, and there's like a handful of people who can actually open doors for you. So yeah, all of that, all of that can, if you focus more on the why, it makes everything else much easier, because if your why is strong enough, everything else would happen. The other 2 questions, it will happen. So yeah, that's a quick introduction as to how I think people should approach networking. Another thing, obviously, after answering these 3 questions, I think what people should also think about is how you're networking with these people. Obviously, you know that you want to get something or you want an opportunity, whatever it is that your why is. Most importantly, when you're networking with other people, you have to make it natural. You can't make people feel like you're selling something to them, because nobody really likes it when they're being sold to and they know that they're being sold to, or it feels like the other person is just trying to extract either information or opportunities or whatever it is out there. That's like you getting a phone call from somebody saying that they want to sell you 500 batteries or they want to sell you some car insurance plan. Nobody wants to feel like that in person. You have to make sure that you create an environment, something that's unique to you yourself. You have to make sure that you create an environment where when people are around you, they feel this certain way. And if you carry that with the people that you're networking with, they'll treat you more as a human and they'll find you more likable, if that makes sense. And yeah, it will get you much further. It's most important that when you first meet somebody who you want to network with, let's say if you're trying to get a job, I'd say on the first meeting, if you had to meet them at an event or wherever it is, that's where you have to keep it completely human. You shouldn't be looking to get something out of them from the first meeting, because it's very unlikely that if I've just walked across you, if I've just met you on the street, that I'm going to be willing to give you a job. No matter how nice you are, no matter how funny you are, I don't know enough about you to give you an opportunity all of a sudden. So yeah, make sure that the first meeting it's the most natural conversation. You've just kind of been open to meet this new person, and once you leave the event, follow up, and follow up through whether it be LinkedIn, through email, through their number, and in the second meeting, that's when you lay down what it is that you're trying to do. You show them about yourself. You show the professional side of yourself and see if this person could possibly help you out. Because by the time that they've agreed to do a second meeting, it's very likely that they see something in you, they like you, and they want to help you out. Yeah, I think in that conversation, it goes unsaid, but you have to also get a point of contact by the end of the conversation. You must make sure that you've built this rapport, you've got the contact, and then you follow up. And what is pretty important that a lot of people kind of don't really understand is that the hardest part of networking is maintaining the connection. Because as well as you want this person to help you out, you don't really know them, so maintaining the connection can be hard. It can be very hard for people to maintain the connection. But I think the way you can maintain the connection is just monthly, like whether it be every 3 months or whether it be every 2 months or even 5 months. Just occasionally check in with them, just send them a message, say how are you, how have things been, schedule a meeting, and yeah, just make sure that the relationship that you had when you first met is still there 5 months, 6 months, 10 months down the line. And yeah, that's what I think about networking. Does anyone have any questions? Ola Lua, I see you raise your hand. You can unmute and feel free to ask.
Okay, so please, if you have any question for the speaker, could you unmute yourself and speak or type in the chat box?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Nice to meet you.
My question is, shy person. Like me, I'm really a shy person. Network, so like physically, and all
You seem to be lagging out. I can't really hear you that well now. I would recommend type it in the chat and then I'll answer it from there. Since I haven't seen any questions just yet and we're waiting for Ola, I'll give you guys another word of advice that I have. Yeah, as I was to highlight on my first point, if your why is strong enough, then I'm positive that you will get connections, access you'll access difficult opportunities or opportunities that, oh yeah, if your why is strong enough, you'll be able to access hidden opportunities. It will be much easier because when your why is strong enough, you'll be looking for ways to network. And no matter what the event is, if you're actively looking for events, then sooner or later, or just continuously going to these events and the conversations that you're having, you'll be introduced to much more things that will just open more doors to events where they're specialized with whatever it is that you're doing. And you'll even see by the people that are in these events. You'll go from being in events where everybody is in the same position as you to what, 5 months, 6 months of
Good evening,
just
sir.
going to the events consistently. You'll find out
Good
that
evening, sir.
now, oh yeah, good evening.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm just seeing it. My question is for a shy person. How do you network with people physically? I understand. I've been in that position before where sometimes when you go to an event, it can be daunting because you're seeing people who may be doing more than you are, or like it feels like sometimes when you go to some events, people can make it seem like they're better than you, or you're not really doing as much as they are, and it can make you shy. Or if you're just feeling naturally shy or just anxious or nervous, that's very normal. That's very, very normal. And I think one thing you have to remember when you're in that position is that think about Michael Jackson, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Think about the greats, all the great businessmen, the great actors, the great musicians. All of them have been in your position at one point in their life. All of them. So it's either you acknowledge that I'm in this position and I can try to network, or you don't do anything. And I think even by saying a compliment to somebody and just leaving it at that, just giving someone a compliment and then going home, saying one word to someone, as long as you try to even say anything to somebody, that's going to go one step further to making you feel more confident. And okay, I've seen another question. My question is this: am I supposed to go to networking with a mindset of gaining from the person I'm networking with, or should I focus more on giving value to the person at first? I think you should go with the mindset of, I don't think you should go with any of those mindsets, because if you go with the mindset of you're gaining from the person, they will feel that same energy. If you go from the mindset of giving value, if you know you can provide value, it can work, but at the same time, the person might also feel like they're being sold to. I think when you're going to network with somebody on the first meeting, you should go in with the mindset of just meeting them as a human being. Think about it like you're going to a party and you want to make new friends, or you're going to a run club, whatever it is, a social space, and you're going to make new friends. Don't think about it as I'm going to network with professionals and they must benefit me with my career. Think about it as you're going to make a new friend. And then on the second meeting, that's when you can discuss whether we'll find out whether they can help you out or whether you can just keep the connection. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Okay, Menon. Most networking advice says you should engage with someone's posts or reaching out. But what if the person doesn't really post on LinkedIn? What's the best way to approach them and build a genuine connection? If you are connected with the person on LinkedIn, then I would recommend you should send them a message. Like that's what I did. I just sent them a cold message. Look on their page or see what they do. If, let's say, for example, they're in private equity and they work at Goldman Sachs, yeah, just send them a message. Say, hey, I noticed that you work in this industry and you work for this company. It's actually something that I want to do. Do you have time? Do you have 10 minutes? We can schedule a call so I can learn about your experiences and your journey. Send that message and see what happens. They might not respond. They might respond saying that I don't have time. They might say that they do have time. But yeah, just send a message and see what happens. I would recommend that you send that to a lot of people who work in the industry that you want to work in. Because yeah, that's how you get to actually speak to these people and learn about their experiences and see their journey and see how it relates to yours and see what you could do to get to where they're going or even get even further than where they are. Thanks so much for the insight. Now, how do we go about networking with professionals online? How do we even start these conversations on professional platform? What are the kind of questions I should ask to keep the connection for long? Okay, I want to answer these one by one. How do you go about networking with professionals online? By as I was saying in Manon's question, yeah, if you're connected with this person on LinkedIn, just send them a message. What I used to do, I used to ask ChatGPT to draft me a message to send to this person. But what I would ask ChatGPT specifically, I would say that draft me a message that doesn't sound like I'm selling to this person and that feels more friendly rather than transaction. And yeah, I'd ask ChatGPT to draft me a message to send to them. I would send that to a list of people who worked in the industry that I wanted to, or who worked in finance. To find these people, you can go on the LinkedIn search category. Okay. Is it Blessing? Could you please mute because your background is a bit loud right now.
Blessing, could you mute yourself if you could hear me? Thank you.
So yeah, to find these people or to find people who work in your industry, you can go on LinkedIn on the search category and literally just search whatever industry it is. It could be private equity, it could be investment banking, it could be private credit, accountancy, whatever it is. Search it on LinkedIn, tap the people filter, and it will come up with a list of people in so many different industries. There's more filters that you can use to adjust it to where you are, the type of company you're looking for. So you could ask ChatGPT about that as well to help you out. For the next question, how do you start these conversations on professional platform? If you're white, how do you start it? To answer that question, you really start it by just starting it. You can't really overthink starting a conversation. Like, think about it as if you had met somebody at, let's say you went to a football session and you met someone and you wanted to play football with them again. It's not really like you're going to overthink, oh, how do I ask him to come with me to play football again? You would just ask him. And I think if your why is strong enough, or as to why you're networking with these people, if you fully know why you're doing it, then you would just start it. You started by just sending them a message. At least on LinkedIn, you would start by just sending them a message to just open yourself up to a conversation. I hope that answers your question though. What are the kind of questions I should ask to keep the connection for long? I don't think there's questions you can ask to keep the connection for long. There's not specific questions you can ask. But just let's say you've met this person at an event or you met them on LinkedIn, and you scheduled another meeting with them, like let's say the next week. After that second meeting, you had a good conversation with them, you learn about their journey or whatever. After that, let's say you wait 2 months. After those 2 months, send them a message saying, how have you been? Pretty long time. Just wanted to check in and see how you're doing or how you're getting on. And then they'll probably respond with whatever. Try to keep the conversation going. If they do post on LinkedIn, mention that, oh, I've seen you've been doing this. It's pretty cool. Would you like to hop on a call to discuss it? If they don't really be posting on LinkedIn that often, then I would recommend you just say, I've really been struggling with this, or I wanted to learn more about this. And I assume that you would understand since you work in this industry. So would you like to hop on a call and discuss it? Make sure you also say that the call is going to be around 10 to 15 minutes. If you just say, would you like to hop on a call? There's no time frame. That means the call could go on for an hour, 30 minutes. People want to know how long they're going to be on this call, and they want the call to be brief. At least they want to think that the call is going to be brief, because let's be honest, if they're working in private equity or investment banking, they don't have a lot of time. So you have to make the environment to them where whenever I'm going to talk to him, it's going to be brief, and he's going to ask me questions, I'll answer him. Who knows? You might end up, even if you said, for 10, 15 minutes, you might get on the call and the call lasts for an hour. But because you said it's going to be brief, they're more likely to want to speak to you. So yeah, the kind of questions when in the meetings, I'm pretty sure just ask questions that you feel like you want to know about, which also goes back to why you're networking. Ask questions about that you're actually interested in, because I don't think you can fake curiosity. You can't fake wanting to know about something. So if you really wanted to know about what they do, or whatever it is that whatever industry they're in, what company they're in, or their journey, just ask questions about that. Or another way is think about it like you're talking to a friend. what type of questions would you ask your friend? You would really just try to keep it as a natural conversation, because you wouldn't want to make it, you don't want your friend to feel like you're just trying to get something out of them. You're just trying to have a conversation with your friend. You want to have a good time with your friend. And then you guys go home, you go about your ways, and you meet again the next time. I think that's what's more valuable when trying to maintain connections. If you make it more friendly rather than transactional, then people would want to continue having meetings with you. They would want to talk to you. They would even send you opportunities. They want to bring you with them to different places. Just by being friendly. Just by being friendly. Another question. You talked about waiting until the second time you meet someone to network professionally and possibly pitch yourself. What if it's not an opportunity that comes easily and you might not see that person physically again? The second meeting doesn't have to be physical. You can meet them online, and if you feel like you might not see that person physically again, then you have to learn to let go of the opportunity, because if that one person may be able to help you, but at the same time, how many other people are in your country that are possibly doing the same thing that he's doing? There's so many. And if you go to enough of these events, you will find people who are willing to help you, and you'll find people who do have the time to meet you again. You shouldn't be, of course, I'd say you'd aim to have another meeting with them, which is why you should get a form of contact after your first conversation with them. But at the same time, if you feel like they're not interested in what you're saying, or you feel like this person might not want to meet with me again, you can still try to follow up and see if you can have another meeting on Zoom or in person, wherever it is. But if they don't want to, they don't want to. You can't force them. You can't force somebody to do something that they didn't want to do anyway. And you have to just learn to let go of that. Question is, I hope that answers your question. And is it right to chat someone who you are looking forward to become your mentor again after she had told you she is not available for providing the program, just like a follow-up? It's right to chat someone. Program. I mean, if she had told you previously that she was not available for the program or for giving you mentorship, I'd recommend you still try and at least maintain the connection. Like, try to just schedule meetings with them, or if you can meet them in person, have conversations with them. Maybe not on a regular basis, whatever the dynamic was between you two. Try to keep it the same as it was when you had when she was your mentor, and that way it would feel more like you're just talking to them as a friend rather than, oh, can you mentor me? Because if you just, like, let's say she may not be available for providing you mentorship, but that does not mean that she's not available to have a conversation. If you just have a conversation with her and ask her about how her day was, or like, what did she do today? What is she planning for the summer? Or just normal things that you would talk about, then she wouldn't feel like, oh, this is my mentee. she'll feel more like this is my friend, and I can have normal conversations with her like this. But in having those conversations and just being around her more, every now and then ask her questions that you would want to ask her while she was your mentor. I hope that makes sense. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, put a message in the chat and I'll clarify. You mentioned being friendly when networking. For students who are just starting out, what are some examples of friendly conversations that help build relationships without coming across as forced or transactional? How did you make friends at university or secondary school or primary school? I think that's a question you should ask yourself if you want to answer that question. I'd say that's a question you should ask yourself. How did you make friends in the past? You know, you find a common ground between you and the other person. Whether it be football, whether it be clothes, whether it be TV series, whether it be movies, find some form of common ground between you two and strike a conversation through that. And then naturally, if they like the conversation, if they want to be around you, then they would be more than happy to have another meeting with you. But yeah, I think just having how to have a friendly conversation is just by finding common ground, asking questions about what they do, and ask questions that you do. Ask about things that you do in your daily life. Ask them about hobbies, like if you like to play piano, ask them about some certain piano music, or ask them, do you play an instrument? If your favorite artist is Ashake, for example, I know quite a few people here probably listen to Ashake. Ask them if they've heard his new album, and that can strike up a conversation. So yeah, just finding common ground between yourselves, it can make it much easier because it will feel less professional and it feel more friendly. And I think something important it's hard to do, but when looking for networking events, this is optional. You don't have to do it, but go to areas where your target audience would be, like for the people who you want to network with. Go to places where those people would be, but your competition aren't. As I was saying, if you go to a networking event where there's just several students, everybody's in the same position as each other, and there's about 3 professionals, you're competing with all these other people. It's much harder to get the next opportunity. Whereas if you had to go to an event where it's just several professionals and you're the only student, or there's just a handful of students, because when you're in that room where there's several professionals and you're the only student, you would find that most of them, not even most, nearly all of these people would be willing to give you another opportunity or to give you another meeting, because they're going to see the person who they used to be. They're going to see themselves in you. At least that's what they're going to be telling you. They're going to say they see themselves in you. They've been in your position. All of these guys that you want to network with, all of them have been in your position. So if you're in a space where all of these guys are professionals, and you're going to them saying I'm a first year student or I'm a second year student, they're going to answer every single question that you have. They would even take time out of their day to have meetings with you regularly. So yeah, try to find spaces where it's mostly professionals. How do you balance being persistent with respecting people's time when trying to build your professional network? How do you balance being persistent with respecting people's time when trying to build your professional network? I think you should be able to sense whether this connection can go somewhere or whether it can't. Being persistent would look like, at least what I think being persistent would look like, is that you're just following up with this person weekly, just saying, yeah, kind of, how's this going, or how has this week been for you? Or a lot of people don't want to have somebody on their tail, because then you feel like a little brother. Because if you're just messaging them weekly, asking about their job or their life or whatever's going on whatever's going on for them, they're gonna feel like this is my sibling. This is my younger sibling. Like, you just keep on bothering me every week. Don't get me wrong. Some people might actually like it, and they're going to want to take you on, and they'll actually engage in these conversations. But from my experience, it's not really. It feels more like this guy, he's just bothering me. Maybe he wants something out of me. Can he just leave me alone, or let me relax for a few minutes? I think, but to respect people's time, just schedule conversations monthly, like I was saying, because that way, or 2 months, wait 2 months, 3 months, because that way you've had the conversation with them, you've let them go to do whatever they're doing for these months, you've gone to do what you're going to do for these next few months, and then out of nowhere, you thought about this person and you wanted to talk to them. I think, I don't know if that answers your question, but to another way of being persistent, which respects people's time, I guess, but it doesn't make them feel like you're a younger sibling, is, like I was saying earlier, look for opportunities. Like, go on, find wherever it is where you can look for events, searching keywords of what you're doing. If you're studying economics, search in economics events. Go on Google and search up economics events or data science events or banking events or finance events, finance conference. Ask ChatGPT, ask AI, and ask them to find all these type of events, whether paid for or free. Just ask AI to find events, and you'll see so many events that you could sign up for. So many. And yeah, that I hope that answers your question, Samuel. But yeah, that's what I think. That's how I think you can be persistent while respecting people's time. Cold emailing and messaging generally doesn't always get responses. Is there a specific format you can recommend that can aid me get responses frequently from professionals? Consistency. I mean, there's not a specific format that can get you responses from professionals, because at the end of the day, LinkedIn isn't professionals' main platform. it's kind of like something. It's like a professional space that people use to show proof of life. So what that looks like is that most professionals that I know, like once in a blue moon, they would post an article or post a random think piece on their LinkedIn to show that they're still doing things, or they'll show that they got a promotion here. They don't really use it that often. So I understand why cold messaging may not work, but I think just being consistent with posting, with sending messages, send as many as you can to as many people. I can guarantee you can get one, at least one response from someone, and that can go somewhere. Another thing you could do, as I was saying earlier, find events, find places that you can talk to people who are in the industry that you want to be in. Like look for institutes or different buildings or think tanks that are related to what you want to do. And just go there and strike up a conversation with the first person you see in the building. See what they do, how they got there, and that can take you somewhere. Another, if you want a specific format, I don't know a specific format that actually works. I would recommend you ask ChatGPT, but off the top of my head, say, hey, whatever their name is, I noticed that you do this at this company, and I find it quite interesting. You have 10 to 15 minutes to talk because I'd like to learn about your experiences and your journey, and send it. Hopefully it gets responses, but yeah, that's what I would recommend. How do I connect with a professional on LinkedIn or even WhatsApp? You create an account on LinkedIn, go to their search bar. I'll actually share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm talking about when I say to edit your searches. Screen. Okay. So you go to the search bar, don't type in anything, just press enter. And now you see, you just get posts or people, whatever it is. You click people, press all filters, and now you see you have all these different filters that you can add. It could be past companies, somebody working at Deloitte. You can even type in whatever school that you went to. For example, for me, I went to Goldsmiths, so you type in your school so you can find people who went to your school, who are working in the industry that you want to work in. That's been an advised approach by quite a few people because it's very likely that they'll relate to your situation. You can add in your location. For me, it's the United Kingdom. This is the most important one, look. Add an industry. Now, let's say, for example, you wanted to get into investment banking. You have investment banking over here, whatever language they speak. And then let's move to Deloitte, they don't do investment banking. And yeah, press show results. You'll get a list of all these different people who either work in investment banking or want to work in investment banking. So we're seeing all these people who work in at JP Morgan, and just click any of these people and press connect. Like, let's click this guy, Lorenzo Zanon. And then you connect to him. as you can see, I can either add a note to the invitation or I can just send a connection without sending a note. To code message, just write this. Lorenzo. Oh, no, it's 6. You can send this. I'm gonna leave it here. You might be wondering why I put equity derivatives, because when I look down here, it says he works in equity derivatives group. I'll let you guys take a screenshot or wherever it is. But yeah, this is a template that has worked for me before, but I can't guarantee that it's going to work on every single person that you send a message to. But yeah, let me send it to him. Maybe I'll get a call. Yeah, that's how you filter out who you want to look for. Investment banking is a very vague industry to say. So when you're searching the industry, I would recommend that you narrow it down to one specific team in a company. Like, for example, I'd say remuneration consultancy, which is basically, oh, they don't have it. Interesting. Well, the point is, be specific with what industry you want to type in, because I can guarantee you, if I know about this whole thing of putting in filters, there are so many people who are putting investment banking as an industry. And when so many people do it, it makes it harder to find the actual people who are working in investment banking in whatever industry, or in whatever industry it is. So yeah, be specific with what industry you put in. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Balogun. How can students add value to professionals before asking for opportunities? By being friendly. A lot of professionals, I don't even think it's with just professionals, it's with people in general. People value human experiences, and with technology, with social media, it's become much harder to get an authentic human experience or human connection. So if you can provide a human connection, where whether you're just funny, or it's like when I'm around this guy, he's so curious, he asks a lot of questions, or he really listens when I talk. Whatever it is, I said, find something about yourself that's unique to you and focus on that when you're having a conversation with someone. That's how you add value. Value it's not always gonna be, oh, I can do this for you. Because let's be realistic. If you're a student, no matter where you are a student at, it's so unlikely that you can help this guy who's earning £50,000 in bonuses at JP Morgan. where he has a team of 100 people who are more than qualified to do the job, that he can ask for help, it's very unlikely that you can provide professional value to him. So if you can provide human value, that type of value is, you can't replicate it, you can't duplicate it, because only you will have it. So yeah, find what makes you unique, and just display that in your personality. Be that person when you're when you're meeting new people, or when you're networking. Try to be, as I always say, try to be friendly. Just try to approach them more as a friend, rather than this guy can help me get a job, or this guy can help me do this, or whatever it is. Focus more on building a human connection before you build a professional connection or a professional relationship. Build that human connection first. I think we all know that even with most business deals, it's not like most business deals don't happen in the office. Most business deals happen when they're getting drinks at the pub, or when they've met each other on holiday, or they're going to not a funeral. They're going to a party, or they happen in very informal places. So because they have that relationship of being friendly with each other, rather than just strictly professional. So yeah. I hope that answers your question, Christine. My question is that, how do one connect with people or professional that requires to use LinkedIn Premium on LinkedIn before chatting them up? Let me be honest with you. Most connections, or most people that I've got a meeting with, I didn't even send them a message through LinkedIn before I was connected to them. I would always have the connection first, and then I would send a message, because that way they've seen my page, they know who I am. If they don't know who I am, they haven't seen my page, then they'll think, why should I talk to this guy? I don't know anything about this guy. Yeah. Yeah, like you don't need to have LinkedIn Premium to make connections, or to connect with different people. As long as you want it hard enough, you'll find a way. As I just showed you, I'm going to show you again. There's a way to connect with somebody and send a message to them before even making the connection. Let me show you. All right, so let's say Paula, she has Premium. So let's say Hashir. I connect with him. I can either add a note or not add a note. If I add a note, I can send a message to him, whatever it is. I send a message to him, and I press send a connection, and that would be me sending him a request to connect. But when I send a request to connect, it will come with the message that I've just put in. When you don't have Premium, as you can see over here, you only have 3 for the month. I already used the first one on the other person, so now I have 2 left. But using the notes, it's not really necessary. If you want to do it, you can, but you can not use notes and still get connections. So yeah. Okay. Is that all the questions? I think so. Anybody, if anyone has any more questions? You can raise your hand or put them in the chat, and I'll answer.
Hello, everyone. If you still have more questions, unmute yourself and speak, or drop them in the chat box. Thank you.
LinkedIn, many connections start without prior interaction. And people often say networking is about mutual value. What makes you move someone from being just a connection to someone you engage with or consider for professional opportunities? On the first meeting, by being friendly, and on the second meeting, by understanding or making them understand, telling them what you do and where you're trying to go, what your goals are, and just asking them whether they can help you out. Because, as I said earlier, by the second meeting, if they're willing to join you for a second meeting, then it means that they, as well as they take you seriously, they like to be around you. When someone likes to be around you, it makes it much easier to ask questions like, do you know if your company has any graduate roles? I'm trying to apply for it. Do you know if I could use you for a reference? Because if it was, for example, if it was your friend who was working as an investment banker at Goldman Sachs, it wouldn't be hard for you to ask them, can I use your name as a reference for my application? Or it wouldn't be hard for you to ask them, do you know if you guys have any opportunities where I can shadow you or even get work experience or just be in the office for a day? The same way that it's not hard for your friend, you have to make sure it's up to you to make that environment with this person that you're networking with. You have to build a friendly professional relationship where you know how to switch to you just being relaxed and just having a conversation about anything. But when it's time to talk about business or when it's time to talk about your career or talk about professional, whatever it is, you know how to switch to that too. Yeah, I think that's how you actually keep someone engaged. Ask questions, be curious. Just be curious, read about what it is that you want to do. If you want to be an investment banker, read about investment banking, read about private equity, read about private credit. Go the extra mile. Try to learn how to build a discounted cash flow model and show that, post that on your LinkedIn. Post the discounted cash flow model that you made. Because even if it's not correct, people when people look at it, they will still respect the fact that you tried to build it. You went out of your way to learn how to do that. So yeah, go out of your way to learn, ask questions. Yeah, just learn and ask questions and try to do different things. Try to do projects or anything that you think this person does in their daily life or what they do in for their job. Try to do something like that. I know that investment bankers do, they create discounted cash flow models. So try to build a discounted cash flow model. For private equity, they're more common for leverage finance models. Try to build a leveraged buyout model called the LBO, read about your industry, learn about what they do, and try to do something try to do one of the things that they do. No matter if it's good, no matter if it's right, no matter if it's wrong, just try to do it and post it on LinkedIn, because it shows that you're actively trying to learn about the industry and you're actively doing things to learn more about the industry. And if you're wrong, what's going to happen is that if you're connected to professionals and they see this post, who knows, they might even send you a message saying that hey man, this is wrong. I can show you how to do it. Would you like to hop on a call? They might actually be open to doing that just because you tried to create a discounted cash flow model and it was wrong. Or even if it's right, they'll be like, this is really good. We need somebody to build these for us next week. Our analyst is gone on holiday. Would you like to come to the company for the next week? Those are the type of opportunities that come up when you try to do something, or you try to be curious and you try to learn. So yeah. How about someone interested in social impacts? What kind of opportunities do we get in networking? How do we network out there? I don't think networking is tailored to one specific area of networking. Is only in finance or in consulting. Networking is the same in every industry that you're in. You have to, I think, how to network there is the same way as if you are networking in finance. First, you have to make sure that you treat them as though you're meeting someone new, and you're meeting somebody that you want to become your friend. And then on the next meeting, talk to them about something they've done in social impacts. Talk to them about what you do, and ask them if they have any opportunities, only depending on the relationship that you have with them. If you feel you would feel confident to ask them for opportunities when you have a good relationship with them, like a friendly relationship with them. But yeah, just kind of try to see if they can put you in the right direction to get opportunities, or put you in the right direction to network with more people who work in social impact. Not, I'm going to tell you for a fact, in the second meeting, yeah, it's about trying to see if you can get an opportunity, but not every time are you going to get an opportunity. Sometimes they might not give you an opportunity at all, and they will never speak to you again. Sometimes they will give you an opportunity. Sometimes they might not give you an opportunity, but they would tell you how to get into spaces where to talk to more people who do what they do. And they might tell you where to put you in the right direction as to what you can do, or where you can go, or who you can talk to, so that you can build your network, or get to where you want to go. What kind of opportunities do we get in networking? I think that's for you to find out, because if you want to get into social impact, you should read about what social impact is firstly. Why do you want to do it? And by answering those two questions, you'll find out the type of opportunities that you can get. I'm not going to say that by networking, they're just going to give you a job straight away. It may be that, like I was saying, it may be that they don't give you experience, they don't give you anything, but they just point you in the right direction as to who you can talk to get experience or to get a job. or to even just put yourself in that environment of the environment where it's professionals and it's people who you want to speak to, people who do what you do. So yeah, not every time are you gonna get an opportunity, but I hope that answers your question. I think, yeah, just read up about social impact. Read about the top companies in there. Read about what they do, what their daily life looks like. Read about what are the roles in social impact. What does somebody who works in social impact do on a daily basis? Read about those things, and having the conversation with somebody who works in social impact be much easier. Any more questions, or I don't buy it. Okay.
Okay. Does anyone want to ask any more questions?
Another thing I will say is that sometimes what happens when people go to networking events, they shy away from the asking questions part. Like, if you go to a panel event, people would hear the person talk, but when they say any questions, nobody has their hand up. No one asks anything. I'll be here to tell you there's no such thing as a dumb question. If you're not working in the industry, then the only thing you can do to learn more about the industry is ask questions. Like, it's the same as learning as a topic. The best possible way to learn is by asking your lecturer questions when you feel stuck, or if it's not your lecturer, you'd ask ChatGPT. You'd ask ChatGPT, how do I do this? I'm stuck here. Or there's no such thing as a dumb question, even though sometimes it will feel like it's one of the dumbest questions. If you ask it, it will make you feel more confident, and it will actually separate you from everybody else, because people will see that you're not scared to ask questions. They'll see you as more curious rather than uneducated, because even though it felt like something that everybody's supposed to know, you still ask the question to clarify on whether you really understood it or you're unsure. That would show people that, okay, I can teach this person. Like, I can show them how to do things and they will understand. Or if they don't, then they will ask about it.
He was shouting.
You asking a question?
So, someone's unmuted. Please mute yourself. All right, go ahead.
Anybody that has any questions? Go ahead.
I think there's a question in the chat box currently.
What are some mistakes students commonly make when networking, both online and in person? Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. Some common mistakes that I made was making the conversation transactional. Like, people would feel like that I'm trying to get something out of them. being shy and feeling like, because when you're in a new environment, you feel like, I don't know anyone here, you're not used to it. So you would kind of be more confined to yourself, or I was more confined to myself. And the only thing that did was just hold me back from more opportunities. I think that being shy part is common for a lot of people because, as I said, you're in a space that you're not used to. Let's be real, when you're in university, first year, second year, most people are used to parties, house parties, going, being lit, going to Dirty December, whatever it is. Most people aren't really, they're not used to being in a networking event. So to go from having this partying lifestyle very regularly to going to a networking event where everybody is just, everyone's in suits. Most of these people are working in finance or consultancy, or they're working in top places. You will feel out of place because it's like, it feels like this person is ahead of me. But yeah, that only holds you back from opportunities, because if you're shy, nobody's gonna look at you. Nobody's going to, maybe people want to talk to you, but you shouldn't rely on that. You should have confidence in your why to actually go out and have the conversation. When you are shy, as I was saying earlier, start by just giving people compliments. Doesn't have to be a whole conversation after that compliment. It can be a whole conversation after the compliment, but just start by going up to someone and say, I like your shoes. Where did you get them from? Or even just say, I like your shoes. If you want to go further, point out a specific part of the shoes that you like. And then, yeah, it creates friendly environment. And that builds confidence. Because if you say that to enough people, you're going to go way further than just complimenting them. You're gonna now be saying, "Oh, I like your shoes. Where did you get them from?" "Oh, I got them from here." "Oh, no way. I was actually on that site a couple days ago. I was looking for these." And then a conversation will just flow naturally. And yeah, I think that's the most common mistake that people make when networking. They don't have a strong enough why. Most people actually don't know why they're doing it. So when you don't know why you're doing it, when you go to the event, the networking event, or when you go to network, you're going to see all these other people and you feel shy. But if you know why you're doing it and you're confident in why you're doing it, then it will all fall into place. Anyone with questions?
Okay, it looks like there aren't more questions. If anyone still wants to go ahead to drop a question, please do that.
I can understand that it may be hard to ask right now. So if anybody does want to ask me any more questions, but they just forgot to ask over here, I'm gonna put my LinkedIn in the chat, and feel free to connect with me and ask me whatever you want to ask. Currently studying finance and accounting while also learning data analytics. I'm looking for remote internships that I can do alongside my studies. what is the best way to find these opportunities, and which platforms would you recommend searching on? Any tips or advice? You're looking for remote internships that you can do alongside your studies. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think that exists, because a remote internship is most likely going to be during the summer. So doing that alongside your studies, I don't know how that would work out, but the best way to find internships or opportunities, I'd recommend you say you're studying finance and accounting while learning data analytics. If you wanted to do finance internships, search finance internships in whatever location you're in. Or if you really want it to be remote, search remote finance internships on Google, and a lot will come up. A lot of there'll be a whole list of places where you can do an internships. Or search in ChatGPT. Search in ChatGPT. Find me remote finance internships or remote data analytics internships in this location. And yeah, ChatGPT will give you a list of companies who are doing remote finance internships. But yeah, I do think that the best way to get opportunities is through networking now, though, because people are more likely. We all know about nepotism, and I'm here to tell you that nepotism is real. People do they do get into companies because their uncle works there, or their dad he's a senior at that company. It's real. At all countries, it's real. So through networking, you can get to know more people in your industry, and if you know enough people and you have a friendly relationship with them, they're more likely to help you out when you ask for references, or when you ask for help with applying or advice. Because what I have noticed, I mean, it's pretty much obvious, but people are more likely to help their friends rather than a random person that they met at an event for the first time. Yeah, so ways of asking for an internship. My most advised approach is by saying, "Oh, I'm applying for this internship at your company. Could I use you as a reference?" And by saying that by itself, who knows? They might actually go out of their way and say, "I'm going to give your CV directly to the hiring manager," or I'm gonna give it directly to the managing director. And that can put you far ahead of everybody else that was applying for this internship. Because you made this relationship with this one person, you've now separated yourself from everyone. You've got the nepotism. You have the backing of this, whoever this person is that you've met. So yeah. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, message me on LinkedIn and we can discuss.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac, for enlightening us and answering our questions this evening. I think because of time, we would have to be rounding up at this moment. But we really, I think I speak for everyone when I say that we really enjoyed your session. So thank you so much. Also, we appreciate your time and efforts, and we will be connecting with you on LinkedIn. possibly also sending out questions and just making conversation with you on LinkedIn as well. So thank you so much for dropping your LinkedIn link as well. So everyone on the call right now should just drop emojis appreciating our speaker tonight. Thank you so much, Isaac, once again. Appreciate you, and we were humbled to learn from your expertise. So thank you so much.
No problem, no problem. Anytime. It's a pleasure to actually talk to you guys.
So,
thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to listen.
Thank you so much. So everyone should feel free to check out his page on LinkedIn, connect with him, send questions, start off conversations, and enjoy your time networking with him and as many professionals as you can on LinkedIn, as we've learned today. So do a lot of efforts in putting in work to network on LinkedIn, and also make sure to physically network. Just put in practice everything you've learned from today's session, and wish you success in your career endeavors as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all. For everyone, just stay tuned to our WhatsApp platform. We'll be dropping more messages and our task for the week, as well as the session next week and everything that we've planned for you all. So stay tuned and don't miss out on it. Thank you so much, everyone, once again for joining the session, and we hope you have a nice evening. Bye, everyone.
All right. I'll see you guys later. I'll leave it in your hands.
Bye, everyone.